This podcast is sponsored by Tusk, a continuity of business solution for industries that struggle with traditional banking. Check them out on the web at tusk.network. The Rob McNealy program is the nexus of cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, and entrepreneurship. Now, welcome to the program. Today, we're talking to Steve Gerritsen. He is the co-founder and CEO and president, I have probably about 4 other different things, of Marketing 160, which is a marketing firm based in Salt Lake City, Utah. They specialize in working with crypto and online companies. And so I think you're going to like talking to him because he's one of the sharpest marketing guys that I know. And I think he has a lot that he can offer a lot of the crypto space and the online marketing space. So, Steve, welcome to the show. How are you?
Doing great. Thank you. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Well, I appreciate you coming on board. I've always enjoyed our in-person conversations and our many phone conversations when I'm always looking for some advice about marketing. So I'm glad you finally had a chance to get on the call with us today because, you know, I know you've been traveling a ton and working in a lot of cool projects out there. So give us a little, before we get into the interview, give me a little bit of background about yourself. You have a very interesting history, and I think our audience would like to hear that too.
Sure. I've done a number of things. I've been an entrepreneur for over 20 years now. Crazy to think that it's been that long, but I started my first business back in 1997, and I've done a number of different things. I've ran a retail store. I've spent 8 years as a NFL agent. I've done a little bit on the corporate side. As far as working in corporate America. And, you know, last year I jumped in as an organizer of a blockchain crypto conference here in Utah and did that, and been running this marketing company as well. So done a number of different things, and everything is, you know, there's marketing related to all of that as far as, you know, all the work that I've done as an entrepreneur and you know, seeing things evolve over time and learned a lot of different things and kind of pulled it all together to where I'm at today.
Well, I think that's really interesting. You know, you've done a lot of different elements and worked in a lot of different industries, but I think what you just said and what I agree with is that, you know, marketing kind of weaves its way through all businesses, and there's a lot of similarities between businesses. And as it applies to crypto, traditional marketing still is effective. You know, I've jumped into the crypto space a couple of years ago, and even as a project, it's funny how many people that are in the crypto space don't seem to understand even the basic, you know, elements and tenets of marketing. What got you involved with organizing, you know, a crypto conference?
So 2 years ago, I went to a conference in LA during Blockchain Week in LA back in 2017, and I learned a lot. I met a lot of great people down there, and this was kind of when everything was taken off in 2017, and I thought, you know, why hasn't there been a conference in Utah? And, you know, I'd been to meetups in Utah and seen a lot of the crowds at the different meetups, and I thought, you know, Utah should have a conference. And so, you know, I was talking to different people here and just decided, you know, it's time. So, yeah.
So what do you think special about Utah and crypto? It seems like there's a lot of crypto kind of startups here. What makes Utah kind of like a really ripe place for crypto types of businesses to be formed and started?
Well, first of all, there's a lot of, you know, a lot of entrepreneurs here and a lot of people that are into tech. And so just that natural transition from, or just, you know, if you're into tech and you're in, you know, interested in startups and getting into blockchain and crypto is, you know, you're not that far off to start. So yeah, there's a great vibe here with startups and entrepreneurs and a lot of tech companies. There's a lot of talent here, and so that makes it a good place. And as far as, you know, I go back to the time and, you know, going to that conference in California, the regulations, a lot of the startup regulations and the costs, they're lower here than they are in California, definitely in New York. I've spent a lot of time in New York, and you know, it's just a lot easier to start a company here than some of those other places. So,
well, I certainly have to agree with you. If you don't really understand Utah, Utah's got a huge tech hub. And I think what's interesting about Utah is that as far as tech centers go, you got like Boulder and San Francisco and Austin, and I think it's partly political, is that those areas are also very heavily, more liberally bent on the political aisle, and whereas Utah is a tech hub that tends to be a lot more on the conservative aisle, which is unusual in the tech world. And I think what is interesting about Utah is that developers that may not be hardcore liberal in their political ideology will feel a lot more comfortable being in Utah and doing the tech thing. And so I think that's one of the big differences that I see about Utah. So there's a lot of, you know, more conservative entrepreneurs that come out of the tech space. And that's why I think part of it is why it's a pretty exciting space for them to just naturally kind of fall into the, you know, the crypto world. One of the things that I like about what you and I have talked about in the past is, you know, traditional marketing and different types of marketing channels. And one of the things you are a leader in is SMS text marketing. Can you talk a little bit about what is SMS text marketing and maybe how it could be applied to the crypto world?
Sure. First, it's everybody's on their phones all the time. Everybody's got their phones with them everywhere they go. I've seen a number of different studies say, you know, people check their phones 130 to 150 times a day. And most people would, you know, all you have to do is go out in public and everybody's looking at their phone all the time. And so if you want to reach your customers, if you're not trying to reach them on your phone, on their phone, then you're probably missing them. Or you're not being as effective as you can. Text messages, they're opened on average 95 to 98% of the time. With those 95% are opened in 3 to 5 minutes of being sent. It's 100% permission based. And so if you're going to send text messages to your customers, you've got to have their permission. Otherwise, you're going to get, you run the risk of getting very large fines. But if you will build a subscriber list, it's going to be your most effective and affordable way to communicate with customers.
So what you're saying is people are addicted to their phones, so
yes.
Naturally hit them where they're addicted?
Correct. And hit them where they want to. Again, studies have also shown your company's most loyal customers want to get their coupons and notifications to their phones. And so if you send them your messages and your special offers to their phone, they're going to be more likely to continue to buy and redeem those coupons that you send them.
So how would you get someone to sign up for an SMS list like that, an opt-in kind of list? Say I'm a crypto project, hence, well, I kind of am a crypto project. How would I get the Tusk users to sign on?
So there's a number of different ways. If you've already got an audience in social media, typically, if you're getting anywhere from 12 to 30% of those followers on social media to see your messages, you're doing really good. And if you can put out on social media, hey, sign up for our text messages, and we'll give you X, another offer. You then transition them into also getting your messages via text, and instead of 12 to 30% of those messages being seen, now you're going to get 95, 98, 100% of those messages seen. Your redemption rates are also going to go up. So you can market them to where they're already at, and then if they're not already following you on social media, that's when you run campaigns to draw them in. And the platform that we have has a text to win, so you can run contests, which are excellent ways to get people to opt into your messages if you give them a chance to win something of value. Coupons that people may want are excellent ways to draw people in. Offer them a coupon for opting in.
So bribing works.
Giving them something, if you give them something of value and then continue to keep giving them value once they opt in, they'll stay opted in. If you just send them things that provide no value, they're going to opt out. And so it's definitely something that is more personal than other communication methods. And so you want to keep that as a personal feel and provide value. If you provide value, they'll stay. If you don't provide value, they'll move on to something else. So
what does it cost to set up like an SMS program typically?
So we've got programs that start at $100 and go up just depending on how many, what packages you need for your business. So, a typical, everything is based on outgoing credits, outgoing messages sent. It doesn't cost for incoming messages, but when you send a message out, that is one message out is one credit. And so, if you buy outgoing credits, that's what it's based on. And you get the full use of the platform, all the different features, all the reporting tools with that when you sign up for a package.
Well, I definitely want to talk to you about that because it could be kind of fun to take a look, because I don't know of anybody that's employing like a SMS marketing kind of piece into the crypto space. Do you know of any that are doing that currently?
No.
So do you think it would work?
I do. I absolutely do.
Well, very cool. So where do you see video? Kind of in the crypto space. Right now we're recording a video here. So obviously I'm a believer and I'm, growing in how I leverage video. I was an audio podcaster for a long, long time. And I'm actually fairly new to video because I got a face for audio, not video. But, how do you see that fitting in to marketing, especially in the crypto sphere?
So all the reports I've seen, 80% of the internet's going to be video by the end of 2020. And so if you're not creating video ads, video tutorials, video content, you're going to get drowned out by other leaders in the space that are. Everybody's got a short attention span, and we've gone from a reading society to a watching society. Everybody wants to watch instead of read. And so creating videos, whether they're 15 second to 30 second to 1 minute or a video podcast, whatever, creating video content is absolutely key to reaching people. I think you know, companies need to be doing that to you know, find their market and hit different people on different platforms and get your message out. And that's something that, you know, Marketing 160 is helping companies do as well. So,
Well, I think that sounds right. Now, I'm not a video guy by nature, so I'm still learning, but I definitely see that the importance of video is only going to increase over time. Maybe it's the ADHD nature of millennials or whatever it is. You know, they even say like the frame rate of like TV and media has increased, like how fast the people shift between different views on, you know, commercials and TV shows and the like, and that, you know, it's because our attention spans are shrinking, which, you know, I'm not sure that's a good thing. So how do you see, you know, the future of blockchain? Now, you've been working with some blockchain customers, and I think you were going to talk a little bit about, you know, one of your prize customers right now, or your case study. How do you see leveraging some of these methods are actually working for some of your clients? Can you talk about some of your clients?
sure. Yeah. Right now, I've got, so I'm working with CoinBook, which is a US-based exchange. They've got a fiat to crypto exchange. They're based in Salt Lake City. And it's, you know, they just launched at the end of 2018, and they're going through a lot of growth right now. It's exciting to see how they're growing and the things that are going on with that company. And there's a lot of different things that, since I started working with CoinBook, that they've been able to do. They've revamped their affiliate program, which has been very effective. And doing that, ramping up the social media, and it started creating more videos, which has helped. And yeah, just there's a number of things that have been going on that we've been able to help them to implement and do that have been helpful with their progression and building their user base and growing their company.
So are they doing text message marketing yet, or have you not gotten to that point with them yet?
That is something that there's been, there's interest and discussion. Has not been implemented yet. We'll just leave it at that. So.
Gotcha. Well, you know,
it's something that is very much a possibility, and it's just, yeah.
So when it comes to marketing, like in the crypto space, what have you found to be one of the unique difficulties of working with the crypto world as far as marketing?
There's a lot of new entrepreneurs, a lot of people that come from the tech side and not the business side of startups, that I've noticed. And so there's a lot of people that understand tech, but they don't necessarily understand marketing and necessarily sales. And so bringing that aspect to it to the crypto and blockchain space is important, in getting the message out and in building community and building revenue. It's you know, we've seen this over the last few years with the crypto spaces. A lot of people raised a lot of money based on white papers and ideas and whatnot, but they had no revenue. And if you've got a product, you've got to get out and sell it, and that takes, you know, it takes marketing, it takes sales, it takes knowing what you're doing, how to sell it, how to sell your product. And I myself have seen a lot of companies that they don't want to, they want the help, but they don't want to pay for it. And so the companies that have been willing to pay for it for good help are the ones that have been able to really take off and get good traction.
So what you're saying is actually marketing your product and your project is still kind of fundamentally important to growing it. And a lack of entrepreneurial skills is hindering the growth of other projects.
Yes, that's what I've seen. Now,
I've seen it too, though. I mean, I've seen this time and time again. And I'm a heretic in the crypto sphere, even though I have a lot of, followers on Twitter. I don't really consider myself part of crypto Twitter, because I kind of say the emperor has no clothes. I'll call out the fact that everybody's arguing, like, for instance, there's all these little wars between the different projects, like, Bitcoin, the 3 Bitcoins that are out there that everybody's fighting over right now that I don't care about. I don't get into politics when it comes to cryptos, but what I've seen out there is that no one actually has customers in crypto, pretty much any of the projects, considering some of these projects have tremendously high market caps. No one really has gotten any kind of mass adoption for people using cryptos for buying and selling goods and services. There's little ad hocs here and there, but even the biggest retailers online, like, Overstock.com is doing like 50 grand a week or something in like crypto sales, which is, considering they're one of the largest retailers that actually accepts crypto, and I know this is a pretty solid number, they're doing a couple million a year, in crypto sales. And they're one of the largest retailers out there that's accepting crypto. So to me, that's a good indication that really there is no mass adoption right now. And I think part of why that is that because you don't actually have people buying and selling goods and services of crypto, because you don't have projects actually marketing to retailers and customers. All the crypto projects out there seem to be focused on, the speculative value or the speculative aspects of crypto, but yet they're not focused on mass adoption, though they all claim mass adoption is the goal. But yet what I'm seeing is that there's just not anybody really focused on how do you actually get mass adoption. And to me, it's amazing that if you go and look at any of the major project sites out there, go on to CoinMarketCap or, CoinGecko and look at all the different projects, and then go look at the websites. So of all the top 20, 30 projects, pretty much none of them have the actual marketing infrastructure, sales infrastructure, or business development folks in the projects. And so to me, this seems like a pretty chicken and egg kind of thing. These people, if they're not getting mass adoption, but on the other hand, they're not set up to do sales and marketing. And when I point that out, people basically call me a heretic and like, oh yes, we're doing all sorts of marketing. No, you're not. You're not knocking on retailers' doors and trying to do market segmentation and actually doing marketing campaigns. And there's a reason why you haven't really penetrated into any one particular industry. And so I found that, people get a little pissy about when I say that, but it's like, to me, it just seems like a pretty straightforward problem that's not being addressed. What do you think?
I think that there's some projects out there and some companies that have built some really good projects that address those, that people either one, haven't been paying attention to, or two, they're so new that they haven't really received the attention, that are going to address some of those issues. So I think, there has been an evolution. Things are different now than they were a year ago, than
right.
2 years ago, and 5 years ago, and so there has been progress. And I mean, I know of a handful of good projects that are addressing some of those issues for adoption and for getting more retailers to accept crypto, that are I think we're going to see, we're going to look back 2-3 years from now, 5 years from now, and see, wow, okay, we are getting there. it's taken time, and what we see on the like coin market cap right now, I think that there's going to be a lot of change in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years.
How do you think?
There's projects that are really, that there's people that have been building over the last year. With the downturn of the market in 2018, there's a lot of people that went back, and it didn't necessarily scare everybody away, but the people that were really committed to the space there's been people who looked at, okay, what needs to be done, what needs to change, and there's been some great projects. I mean, your Tusk is one that I expect to see a lot of great things over the next few years.
Well, I hope so, and I appreciate that. It's like we're working.
Yeah, but and that's just, I mean, that's one example, and I can give a number of other companies that, you know, I expect really great things, that are going to help with the adoption in the industry, and bring a lot of new users to the space.
So, you know, I know you are a crypto investor as well, and you don't need to give investment advice, but do you think we're in a bull market now? Is crypto winter open, or do you think that we're, you know, still in a bear market?
I think with all the big companies that have been investing, I think we're at the start of something that could help things to go up.
Yeah, I kind of think that we still got, I think it's warming. I think we're thawing out a little bit.
Sure.
I still, you know, I don't make price prediction on anything. I'm not, you know, some kind of like crypto dog avatar with spaghetti noodles on my head that tells everybody how to invest their money. I'm not that guy, right? And I don't claim to be. But what I would say is I think that we probably got about at least 6 more months before we really start, maybe even a year, before the market really starts coming back. I think it's thawing out. We're seeing, you know, I think we're going to see some little upticks, but I'm thinking 6 months to a year, and I think things are going to kind of roar back, and hopefully for good reasons. And to me, not just because people are feeling emotional, but because there's some real, you know, projects out there that are getting, you know, to me, getting value and giving value. And I think how I judge it is, you know, do you have users? Are there customers? Does your project have customers for
Sure.
whatever your product is? You know, there's a lot of really awesome projects out there that seem great, have backing, but they don't have any customers either. And
Yeah.
you're like, and you're worth $200 million market cap, but you don't have a customer. So to me, I think that more of that hype and more of that speculation kind of hysteria has got to wash out. And then I think from that, you know, the companies and the projects that are actually out there getting users and doing sales and doing marketing are they going to be the ones that are going to be, I think those are going to be the ones that rise to the top. But I think it's going to be an interesting couple of years to see how that pans out.
I do as well. I think, I mean, as you said, you know, companies that get users and get, you know, actually getting sales, building revenue, that's going to drive a lot of the next phase of growth.
Well, you know, it's amazing to me how many people you talk to, especially like, oh, we're not a normal business, we're a community project. Okay, I don't care if you're a normal business or not, okay, or if you're a community product, you know, project. You have to go out and get users, and I prefer to call them customers. You know, not because there's no such thing as user service, right? But there is customer service, right?
Sure.
And I think the projects that view in a positive way, even if they're not selling anything, but they view the users of their project as customers, and they think of them as customers and want to treat them with the respect they should be giving to their customers, I think that attitude is going to go a lot further. And I think the projects that do that, are going to do well. I think that there's still resistance. If you go and talk, I've talked to lots of developer-led teams, and I think developer-led teams are part of the problem, is that they hate the concept of sales and marketing. Well, this is just the future. People should just love it. And I'm like, we can go and talk and like, okay, and I get the people that come from maybe the open source or the Linux community, the free software community. I get their mindset, right? People should just want to code for free and not have any kind of, just for the satisfaction of it. But that's not how the world works. There's very few people that are that altruistic. But I also would say, part of the problem is, if you want to look at Linux desktops, it's mostly a failure.
Yeah.
Out there, they have nothing. They have no market share compared to Windows desktop or iOS. Now obviously their web server software works great. Apache is an amazing product, but if you go and look at from the desktop standpoint, and I run a Ubuntu laptop, so I'm not anti-Linux, okay? So I don't want people to get all freaked out and start yelling at me in the comments. But the fact is, though, let's be honest, Linux is still got usability issues for the average person. It's very complicated to solve certain issues unless you're a tech guy or an engineer yourself, and it just has no market share. So just because it's very reliable. This is the thing, is Linux machines are very, very reliable. Linux desktops are really reliable once you get it set up and you understand them. But for the average user, they're really challenging. They're not going to ever go out and get they're not going to take a bunch of market share away from Microsoft. It's just not going to happen. And part of that is because they don't think in terms of being, selling a product. They don't think in terms of customer usability and customer experience. And I think there's most of the cryptos out there also don't think about those things. You get people arguing between, say Bitcoin Cash and the speed of, Bitcoin, but the reality is both of them are still inferior speeds compared to Visa. Sure. And if you're competing with Visa right now, and so if you're not even as good as Visa, your product's not ready for mass adoption because you're going to make it harder and more expensive for people to transact. Why would I do that? Why would a customer want to do that? And unfortunately, the masses out there don't want to do that. They don't want to learn something new, and unless there's some huge advantage to them over currently using their debit card, because there's a learning curve, and this whole inertia thing makes people not want to change how they do things. I know how my Visa works. I don't understand this crypto stuff. I don't understand QRs and wallets and all that kind of stuff. People don't want to learn that unless there's a specific advantage or it solves a really big problem for them. You're selling mud to Eskimos or snow to Eskimos or ice to Eskimos, right? It's just it's like whatever. It doesn't, they don't want it, they don't need it, but if you go try to sell ice to someone in the desert, probably need it. And so you got to think in terms of what problems are you solving for customers or users. I think until the crypto world starts figuring out that maybe they should go talk to their customers before they start coding, might be a beneficial thing to do.
When companies realize the benefit of accepting crypto, more companies will accept crypto for payment. And then when customers realize the benefit of paying with crypto, more customers will pay those same companies with crypto, and the adoption will go through the roof.
I agree, but the cryptos have to. It's just basically market analysis. The crypto products have to be usable. They have to solve problems for people. Now I can see if you have the technology and the usability dialed in that's equivalent or better than current existing payment systems. Now for retailers, the advantage is huge. You don't have to wait for settlement times. You get rid of chargeback issues, and there's just much lower fees depending on the crypto. Sure. The problem with say like Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's upticked, in the last couple of weeks, it's $4 for an on-chain transaction. Sure. And it might take a day or two at that rate. I heard, a couple of days ago, it's $20 to get in basically a very quick transaction on Bitcoin. Well, I'm not going to go buy a $3 coffee with the $20 fee on top of the complications of actually conducting the transaction.
And that's where other cryptocurrencies have an advantage that we will see in the future. Things change. I'm not saying Bitcoin's going to go away. I think Bitcoin's, it's not going anywhere necessarily. But there's other cryptocurrencies that are going to see adoption, which we're already seeing. And, we've seen that with Dash in Venezuela and a lot of these other countries where like that's one of the most used cryptocurrencies out there. There's a company called Block 30 that they've got a platform and a payment platform that I think they're going out, and I think that's going to get quite a bit of adoption going forward. If I had to put my money on something, I like what they're doing. There's a lot of and there's a lot of different things out there that I think we'll see some of this adoption with helping the adoption take place.
Well, I completely agree with you, and we're about running out of time, so I do appreciate you coming on the show today. So where can people find out more about you and Marketing 160?
So my website's marketing160.com. That's 160.com, and I'm on all the social platforms, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and yeah.
Wonderful. Steve Gerritsen, thank you so much for coming on, brother. It was good talking to you like always.
Thanks, Rob. Take care.
Bye. Thank you for listening to the Rob McNealy program. Make sure you check us out on the web at robmcnealy.com and subscribe to our podcast at YouTube, iTunes, and on the Google Play Store.